The arrows mean yields of forms. I'm going to most likely use forms. Let's say number 1, I'm going to use forms. Number 2, I'll probably use produces. The last thing I'll probably use in third, coming to third place, would be yields. I rarely say yields, but that arrow means forms or produces. The double arrow means a reversible reaction, something that can happen forward and backwards. In essence, as we just learned, with reactants on the left and products on the right, in a reversible reaction, the products can then go back to the reactants. For the third one, you have an arrow with a triangle, which means energy. That triangle means energy. Energy usually in the form of heat. Sometimes light, sometimes sound, but usually heat. So energy, release and reaction, we have this arrow. Actually, I'm sorry, no. I guess all 3 of those, but I rarely use those. Very, very rarely. I will use this, and this looks like a very good quiz question. The last type of arrow will be some kind of catalyst, where it'll be an arrow, any kind of arrow, with Mn or Pt, which are your normal catalysts. Those are elements that you put on top. I could just write catalyst, but Mn is manganese, Pt is platinum. Those are catalysts because they're used to speed up a reaction. The catalyst, by definition, is something that is not involved in a reaction. It's just something that is used to speed up the reaction. Kind of like if somebody pushes you down a slide, they're not actually going down the slide. They're not actually involved in the slide. They're just helping you go down the slide. And the last slide, which you copied down, and some of you might get all the way. Want to just quick review of this distributed properties for this. So in this case, those small numbers we always know as subscripts. Of course, I had to go out of order. Subscripts. The new one is coefficients. Coefficients is something that we're going to talk about more and more as we go on, but this is the new one. Coefficients is really, really important. Subscripts we've been using for a long time, but now we're going to use coefficients. They work like subscripts, except subscripts are always, let's say, behind. Let's say 1 or 2. I'm going to put a 2 now. Subscripts are always behind. Coefficients are always in front. And let me put that 3. And it's always in front. So your coefficients are always in front, and they mean the whole number. I guess if that's one way, I guess I can just show you here. So that coefficient in front is as good as if you're writing a parentheses around the whole thing, and you distribute that 3 throughout. The subscript is only pertaining to the element in front of it or the parentheses in front of it. A coefficient is in front of the whole reactant or product, compound, etc. So use them the same way though. They multiply. So in this essence, let's see if we can write this down. So the coefficient is really important. I'm gonna actually give you a quiz on this because it's gonna be really important that we understand at least this part, and then we can move on. This 3 is related to, it's 3 times the whole thing, the whole compound. So if I have 2 aluminums here, that's 2 times 3, which means I have 6 aluminums. This carbon here, I only have I have 1 carbon inside the parentheses. Then I have a 3 outside, which means 3 carbons, but don't forget the 3 in front, which means I have 9 carbons. And the last one, the big one, we have oxygen, 3 oxygens inside the parentheses. Now again, this 2 in front of the parentheses means nothing because that 2 is reflecting only to that aluminum. So don't get that confused. But 3 oxygens inside the parentheses, and then the 3 on the outside, that's 9. But don't forget the 3 in the front. So we actually have 27 oxygens. 3 times 3 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. Really important. Make sure you know this. We've done subscripts before, but now we're adding coefficients. Use them the same way. They just mean in front and encompassing the whole thing as if it was one huge bracket across the whole thing. All right. So pop quiz will be on that, and reactants and products, and solid, liquid, gas, aqueous, vapor, precipitate, and the arrows. That's your quiz. We're behind on quizzes. Gotta catch up. We will when I get back. I think that's it for this one. Oh yeah, that's for solid. Oh, here's some good examples of quizzes. I would say, I'll give you examples since we're here, since I'm here. Say, what's A? I didn't even draw that line. What's B? Let's see. What does this mean? What does C? So that'll be kind of your example of a quiz. And then I would say maybe something like D, what are the reactants? List the reactants. That is a horrible writing because I'm writing off the side of my iPad. My hand is falling off. Anyway, list the reactants, etc. That would be your type of quiz question. So you should be able to do that for any of these. And that's it for this section. 16 minutes. It's a lot.